I mean, I left like 3.
Hi, welcome to First Pour Wine. I'm Nick.
And I'm Leanne.
And for the next 2 episodes, we're going to be talking a little bit about Italy. Now, I am completely Italian, about as Italian as you get. And towards the end of this series, we're going to be working more towards where I'm from, which is southern Italy. But for today, we're going to be more in central Italy. So we've got an Orvieto, which comes from Umbria. And we've also got a Montepulciano di Abruzzo. Now, so Italy is one of the more diverse regions. And lately I know you've been drinking a lot of Italian wine, right?
Yes, wonderful. Yeah, I personally, like, it's definitely more of an old world feel. Like, you don't have the fresh, new, experimental tastes you get in a lot of places like South America and like Australia, New Zealand. You don't get that crazy jam. You do get some, you can definitely get hints of fruit. By no means is it a non-fruit place, but they do have a lot more like tradition, and there's like pretty strict restrictions on how you can make wine to you, which I think is always commendable. So yeah.
Yeah, the Italian government has set up several laws about what kind of grapes can go into certain types of wine. And also, one of the things about this bottle, which I've just cut off, is the DOC tag, which is one of the indications of what kind of grapes go into the wine. There we go. And there's a lot of laws governing what you can do with that, you know, what the alcohol level should be, things of that nature. And they're pretty strict about that. So we're going to start, of course, white before red. Now, Orvieto is made from a grape known as Trebbiano, and this is from the center of Italy, a little to the north of Rome, and it typically produces very stone fruit forward wines. In the past, they've been sweet, but they've moved towards the drier side over the years. So let's give it a little sight, and it's quite light, as you can see. Get a little smell. Very minerally, with a little bit of citrus in there. It's a little bit like a Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, definitely.
And a little bit of stone fruit too.
Yeah, I was just thinking apricot, definitely. A pinch of peach, or not peach, nectarine.
And this is one of those wines that apparently smells different than it tastes.
Oh, definitely.
So while the nose is kind of dry and minerally, the flavors is definitely, it's not sweet, but it's not quite bone dry.
Yeah, it's quite acidic, it's very wet. You have to suck a little.
The word that comes to mind is like, it's like eating a nectarine.
Yeah.
Almost like a not quite ripe nectarine. That's a little bit of orange in there too. And the aftertaste is kind of nice as well.
Yeah, you definitely have a bit of citrus. That tastes like the peel you get on oranges and grapefruit. That little bit, like it's a little bit in the finish as well.
So now this is very typical for an Orvieto. Yeah, they're usually on the cheaper side. You can usually get one for around $10. This one is a Ruffino. So if you want to find out more about that, we'll have tasting notes up on the site. But we're going to move on to a different region, which is Montepulciano.
Yes. And Montepulciano di Abruzzo is what we have, and it's from also from central Italy. This is my type of wine. I like a descriptor. They say it's a very mouthful wine, which means that it lingers. You have a lot of fruit in it. Good amount of tannin. It's pretty great.
Now there's a couple of jokes about Montepulciano di Abruzzo because it's a very cheap wine that can bolster your appetite.
Yeah.
So our wine teacher used to make jokes about, you know, little old lady comes into the liquor store with an RX for it. You know, she comes back a few weeks later and she's got a few more pounds on her because she's been eating pasta with it. So it's definitely one of the more interesting wines.
And an interesting part about this region is they're huge, producer of wine, but you mostly get red and white table wines. Whereas this, like, you get a good amount of bang for your buck. There's a decent amount of like rustic taste, and yeah. But the region, usually people don't. I guess for central and the more rural areas, they just don't care about.
It's one of those things where the food is very rustic and the culture is very rustic. So the wine and the food, the old saying goes, you know, grows together, goes together.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of wine that you could definitely open with a nice bottle, or sorry, definitely a nice wine to open for, say, you know, fresh pasta with, you know, a lot of tomatoes and basil, and you know, or you're braising something and you're going to put it in pasta. Same concepts. So this is very red.
Yeah.
And it's a lighter shade of red. Now, Montepulciano Abruzzo isn't usually the biggest wine. I can smell that that earthy kind of note, where it's you get kind of that dirt and red fruit kind of thing going on.
Yeah. Definitely earthy, definitely rustic.
There's a little bit of mushroom in there too.
Yeah. The fruit's not coming out, but we'll see what the taste is.
Okay. I love Montepulciano Abruzzo, I'm not gonna lie. It's one of those things where you just it's got all these like big red fruit flavors where you're talking like raspberries and strawberries, and but you still get that like nice earthy undertone.
Yeah.
Where there's something amazing about the whole combination. It's almost like you can taste Italy in a glass.
I haven't been to Italy, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, you get a lot of raspberry, and the rustiness is very like balanced out with any sort of fruit you're getting.
Yeah, it's a very kind of informal kind of wine. It's the kind of wine you can open any night of the week, and it'll pair nicely with whatever you're eating, just because its tannins aren't too big. It's still got a lot of acid, but it's very smooth and drinkable.
And it is a pretty good representation of Italian wine as far as not having that innovative spirit. And it's a little more basic. It's not all over the place. It's just trying to do one thing well.
That's classic. All right. Well, that's what we have time for today, and we'll be picking up with two more from southern Italy, one from Puglia and one from Sicily. And you can tune in next week to check that out. In the meantime, head to the site, www.firstpourwine.
And you can check out, we also have Twitter. First Pour Wine is where you can follow. Yeah, and then on Facebook also. Not sure the URL, but yeah, if you just search First Pour Wine, and yeah, more likes, definitely good. I forget the complication as to...
It's like 25 or something. Facebook's got strange policies, but you all probably know that already. But, alright. Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. We look forward to more comments and discussing wine with you. Cheers.
Oh shit! I caught the red almost.